You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Business owners and entrepreneurs, we're always saying, what if we could clone ourselves? What a game changer that would be for our business. Well, our next guest today is the CEO and co-founder of 2XU. They are able to take back 10 to 20 hours per week within the first 90 days with their highly trained executive assistants working on the right tasks, building the systems needed, and generating freedom from the day-to-day work. With me today is the CEO and co-founder of 2XU, Le-an. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, very happy to be here, Chris. I love your energy.
Oh, thanks so much. Gotta hype it up. You have to, especially with something as incredible as this. This is such a great positioning statement. As a business, a company, this value proposition is amazing. We are always looking to try to save time and clone ourselves. But how do we do it?
Yeah.
How can your business do that for us?
So you said it right there in the intro is like the first part is focusing on the right tasks. Like a lot of the time, a lot of business owners that we talk to, they're like, oh, I'm going to delegate this because I hate this task. I hate sales. I hate marketing. I hate X, Y, and Z. But that's usually why they fail in the first place when it comes to delegating or hiring someone is they delegate the thing that they hate the most without assessing if that's essential to their business. That's kind of the main things. Like I use sales all the time as an example because I've seen it over and over again. I'm like, can I just hire someone to do the calls for me? And I'm like, are you sure? So it's first really assessing that. So for me, whenever we're talking to our clients is we use the 80-20 Pareto principle of like, out of the 10 things you're doing in a day, 2 are the essential. That's what you focus on. We'll delegate the rest because they still need to get that in your business. So that's kind of the first one really is we have that list of 200 plus things you can delegate to an assistant. So we assess that with the client to see what's a match. The second one is systems, which is basically, I'm a huge systems nerd. A lot of people get bored talking about systems, but I can talk about systems all day long of like building assets in your business, the templates to make things just a little bit easier and not inconsistent. And of course, creating those time operating procedures. And the last one is it does boil down to finding the right person or the right people around you. Like a lesson that the universe keeps making me learn over and over again is I could have the right tasks and the right systems, but if I don't have the right people, it's all like to crap. And I always tell it to other people of like, don't make the same mistakes that I did. Like I set up everything perfectly because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and a people pleaser. So I like set everything up. But then if I don't have the right people on my team, nothing else matters. So that's kind of we call it the Q formula is like making sure you have the right tasks, building the systems and having the right people as well in your team. So yeah.
That is so incredible. I love that. Something that you mentioned that is really important is that planning phase, being strategic about let's look at the actual tasks. And there's a big difference behind what we as business owners don't want to do and feel like that's what we should push off versus this is what's going to bring the most value to you, which is incredible. Now, with your past experience, what made you get into what you're doing today? I'm sure you're bringing a ton of experience relative to what you're doing today. How does that help you do what you're doing?
Yeah, so it's always funny because when it comes to experience wise, and I tell people I'm 28, but I've had like 13 years of experience in the business, I actually say that entirely true because I started in the outsourcing world before it was cool, before it was anything. My mom thought it was a scam, even. That's how far back working from home I did. So I was 15 years old. It was 2011. Found my first freelance gig, kept getting a freelance gig because, of course, no one else was doing it. So it's easy for me to get clients. And then when I was 18, I was part of this sort of publishing company where then I was taught how to hire and work with people because it was very much a startup. And I think when I started, we only had like 5 employees here in the Philippines. And when I was 20, when I was appointed basically as CEO of the publishing company, then I learned how to recruit, manage, finding the right people, failed a couple times again. And then I had this moment when I was 3 and I was lucky enough to be speaking on a stage of like 800 people. And I was realizing in my head, because I was in Singapore, basically doing that speech, I was like, I want this for other people. I want to teach other people how to be able to work remotely. But also then I have to teach a lot of these entrepreneurs how to be able to hire people. So we had a course on how to hire a virtual assistant. And then one of the speeches that we were doing, someone just said, hey, I love what you're teaching. Can you just go ahead and do it for me? So then we started 2XU. Right as I just turned 24, technically it was a services company. It was just a course before. So that's kind of at 28, 13 years of experience that I'm bringing in.
That is amazing to hear. I cannot believe that. I mean, it's just, I hear of a lot of success stories at an early age, but to be that successful and to be that legitimate, Le-an, to be honest, there's a lot of people I meet who claim to offer similar things, but I feel like you've got it together. You actually 2X people for them. So I'm sure you've run this across with some competitive analysis. You're researching on what other people are doing. You seem legit. What are the big differentiating factors that make you legitimate, that are doing something better that the competition isn't?
So I focused on the thing that I said earlier that most people get bored on, which is systems. Like I didn't think that I would be a systems person. I always thought like, oh, I'm this creative person who like goes with the wind. No, I love systems basically. So and that's been kind of the thing that I leaned on into XU is aside from just the usual recruiting and managing a virtual assistant, we also have our 2XU business operating systems. So what it is we have a list of 74 assets from your vision, your mission, your brand kit, your marketing funnel, your employee handbook, basically, that we start documenting in our client's business, mostly because the aim is if our client wanted to sell their business tomorrow, will they basically have a checklist that they can follow, then going through that. And the other flip side is a very unique role that we have in 2XU is someone who's called the operating systems manager. They're not operations in 2XU, but they work with the EAs on streamlining the SOPs, creating those assets. So that's kind of been our USP that I'm really proud of because that's actually a really cool thing. Oh, that's the thing that I really want to like create in 2XU. Now for our clients, it's kind of really helped them be able like it's 25th of January right now. A lot of our clients are just coming back to work after the holidays,
Oh,
but then their
wow.
EA has been running something else in the background. That's kind of my dream and fruition is that the business owners are able to. And on the flip side, as their business owner coming back and everything is not on fire, their EAs are now able to take a few days off. Like one of our top performers is right now on a leave because she's kicked so much butt that her client's like, yeah, no, thank you for taking care of everything. Go, go, go. Like take that vacation. So I want both of that benefits for our clients and of course for our EA.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Now, this is something that applies to literally almost every entrepreneur and business owner out there. However, are there ideal customers or clients that you find you work best with, or you're just kind of working in a certain industry or a niche right now?
So it is primarily business coaches or if they have something to do with boosting someone else's business. Like I like thinking of it of our own filter is as long as they're giving value to the world, then they're the people that we want to support. We've had a lot of really fun outliers. Like one of our outliers is like they're a bike touring company in Europe or they're a river station company. It's just weird outliers, but then we have fun with them. Like they're our clients for the long run as well. But it's mostly been those, the coaches basically who are creating a lot of content and need a little bit of help on that end, or they need a lot of admin support so having their EAs on the meeting, so then the EAs are the ones to follow up with their clients post meetings, things like that.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, do you have a certain price point as far as qualifiers when it comes to maybe are they solopreneurs? Are they small to medium sized businesses? When can they know that, hey, I'm ready and can afford the 2XU system and service?
So our own kind of barrier to entry is about right after you hit about 15K a month. The biggest reason for that is then the business is not new because when the business is new, too many volatile things and like the next month you might not need an EA anymore. Whenever I hear someone's just like, I really want to have 2XU, I'll borrow money. I'm like, I don't think we're a fit for now because if you have to borrow money to pay for the first month, then this is not going to be ongoing. And I've made that mistake multiple times as well before. So that's our good kind of if you've been consistently able to make 15K a month, then the EA can then come in and double you. Because of course, if you're only making like 5K a month, then it's only 10K. I'd rather make 15 to 30K as a flip, basically.
Oh, that's very smart. And I like that. Of course, as business owners, we're happy to take anyone's money. But again, being the right fit, making sure we can actually provide value and follow through on what we say we're going to promise. When it comes to systems and efficiency, just like you said, there's too many variables that are unknown within their processes that it's not only the unreliable income, but also just the client workflow and processes. They don't have things ironed out just yet. And it may not be a template or a system, but that's what you come in for. But again, making sure you get that return on investment with your business is crucial, which is just fantastic. Now, what is something that entrepreneurs or business owners, before they come to you, what can they do to save time or become more efficient in their own business so that they can get to 15K and then call 2XU?
So the first thing is just the awareness of what you are spending your time on. A lot of us, like for me included, there are days I go through a week, I'm like, what the heck did I get done? But if you're getting ready to have an EA, it is observing how you spend your time. So the typical things that I like getting delegated right away are the recurring tasks. Like what are the daily, weekly, monthly things that need to get done in your business? We could either automate that or then have your EA running that. And then it's also looking at, I guess it's kind of a little bit sad to say, but like what are the times that you failed the hiring a freelancer for? Because then the kind of the assessment of why did you fail that? Did you delegate wrong? It's kind of assessing yourself to see, because then an EA is a long-term commit. Like most of our clients have been with their EAs 2-3 years after starting working with 2XU. So it is that thought of like, okay, what can this look long term for me? Because then I'm bringing on this other person who will be amazing and fantastic, but only if I am amazing and fantastic. So a lot of self assessment, I guess, versus like your business assessment. It's self assessment on whether you're ready to take that on.
That can be such a challenge for business owners, actually taking an honest look at yourself, that self assessment and awareness. It is really difficult because we're busy. Sometimes it's too much on the wrong tasks. Sometimes we have to look at, did I delegate this properly? Did I provide the right tools and resources? Is it clear enough? But that's something you've already thought through, figured out, mastered, and now are doing for other businesses. Where can people find out more about you, get in touch, links, profiles, things like that?
Yeah. So for just finding out, first and foremost, if you're ready for VA, we do have a scorecard. It's 2xyou.com/scorecard. 2 minutes. It's like 14 questions, if I remember right. And it basically kind of assesses you ahead. Other than that, of course, we have our website. I am on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I talk about this of like how to hire an assistant, how to start. Actually, technically, as of on Thursdays, I post videos on like how to start your own remote business, how to scale it, how to grow it, how to work with a remote team. So those are probably the best. And my LinkedIn is always like, my assistant does an amazing job of filtering people. So LinkedIn as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then for you on LinkedIn, it'll be Le-an with a hyphen, LE-AN, and then Lacaba, Lacaba. Is that correct?
Perfect. Yep.
Perfect. That is wonderful. What is the next year, 3 years, 5 years going to look like for you and for 2XU? Because it seems like you're on this fantastic trajectory. You're making connections, you're doing outreach. What is the next series of 2XU going to look like?
So this year, we're starting an AI agency. Basically, it's also attached to 2XU, doing AI consulting a little bit. And then as AI gets better and better, then integrating more and more automations into that as well. But for me, the thought of 2XU, I'm a fan of Star Wars, is I'm growing it into my own empire, basically. So other than 2XU as a virtual assistant company, we'll have the AI agency, we'll have like a content marketing agency, bookkeeping. I have like 10 business plans for me, but I want to make sure 2XU is first like solid. So then I can start looking at I call it my side quests in my head, the other side quests that I can do with 2XU.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I love the reference to the side quest. As you're doing that, you're building up your dexterity, your intellect, you're just
Mhm.
leveling out your character. And then who knows
Exactly.
what's coming next. That sounds incredible. What is the one piece of advice that you would like to share with business owners that you wish you had learned earlier on? I know you mentioned that you keep making the same mistake, but it can be something different or the same.
Well, it is the people part of it that you usually miss. Like when I was being taught how to become a CEO, my mentor told me entrepreneurs are usually they're focusing on three things. You're focusing on how to make money or how to keep the money. Second is how to build the systems. And third is people. People usually is the one that they fall through the most. I did that. And that's the biggest way that you can gain freedom for yourself is like you could have all the money, but you're working 80 hours a week because you don't have the right people with you, or all the money and the right systems, but you don't have the right people with you. You've kind of just stuck yourself into this cycle. So that's kind of always the thing that I have people focus on is like, do you have the right people around you? Because if you do, that's the key thing for you to get to where you want to be.
Yes, absolutely. People make the business come together and to operate and work efficiently and properly. Unless you're building that community, really delegating the tasks properly, creating that, again, the community, you have to look at that in order to put the things together. Otherwise, they're going to go to greener pastures, and that's not something you want. You want to retain the talent within your organization and, again, hire out for better talent, just like 2XU does. Now, can you share any sort of recent client success? It's up to you if you're able to share names or not, or just a project that you've worked on. You had some really great results. They were very happy with it.
Well, the ones that I talked about earlier of like some of our clients have been able to take 2-3 weeks out of their business. That's always my win. And a lot of that goes into knowing that by November, we're planning for the clients to be able to take that vacation or to take that leave. So even as early as October, November, we're already having those conversations with clients of like, hey, how many weeks do you want to take off in the holiday? What are the things that we can start automating for your EA so then they can take care of things without panicking or calling you up every other day. So that's always for me is that win. I can measure a lot of other things that I just got on right before this call. I was just on a client call where he was like, I took 2 weeks off. Everything's fine. A very short meeting, but then at the same time, he was like, yeah, I'm launching a book this year. I'm doing this and doing that. And the EA already knows what to do. So that's my win. It's like anytime that happens for them is they're created enough freedom where they don't have to worry about what now seems like the small stuff, but used to be a really big thing if they didn't have their EA.
Wow, that sounds like the dream type of position to have as an entrepreneur where you're able to take 2 weeks off and not have to worry about a thing and come back just feeling refreshed without a worry in the world. That sounds absolutely incredible. Now, for anyone who's interested and learning more, make sure you check out the links in the description below. But Le-an, I wanted to ask, do you have a podcast, a video channel that you follow that has been really influential for you in your success?
I have so many. I consume books like food. So my top one when working with people is the 1 Minute Manager series by Ken Blanchard. I think I've read 5 books out of that series already. It's because it's really good when it comes to how to become a more intentional leader or a manager. And how to influence people is always like on everyone's reading list when they join 2XU for a reason, because it helps them work with people a little bit better. And for someone to follow, I have so many, like I said, I'm right now in an Alex Hermosi binge. But of course, there's so many other amazing people. Mel Robbins, Simon Sinek, I follow as well. So if you ask me, I could keep going on and on, but those are the top ones off the top of my head of what I'm currently studying.
That is fantastic. Love to hear that. Le-an, it has been such a pleasure to have you on our podcast. I can't wait for your phone, your email, your website to be nonstop with these entrepreneurs reaching out because of the incredible value and offer that you're providing to them. Le-an, thank you so much for your time and joining us today. Can't wait to see what is going to hold in the future for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.